Before we dive in, please remember that the information in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional financial, legal, or business advice. Every business is unique, and you should always consult with a qualified implementation partner or technology consultant to assess your specific needs before making any major software decisions. Alright, let's talk about the monster living in your office. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. You probably built it yourself piece by painful piece. It's a Frankenstein's monster made of software. You've got QuickBooks over here trying its best to handle the books. You've got HubSpot or maybe Salesforce over there where your sales team lives. Your e-commerce is running on Shopify, your marketing team is blasting emails from MailChimp, your warehouse is wrestling with a clunky inventory system that looks like it was designed in 1998, and your project managers are desperately trying to hold it all together with a chaotic mix of Slack, Asana, and a mountain of Google Sheets. Each individual piece might be great at its one job, but they don't talk to each other. Not really. And so your team becomes the expensive, error-prone human glue holding this fragile mess together. Think about it. Your sales rep closes a huge deal in Salesforce. What happens next? Someone, maybe that sales rep, maybe an admin, has to manually copy and paste all that customer and order information into QuickBooks just to create an invoice. An order comes in from your Shopify store, and someone in the warehouse has to manually update the master inventory spreadsheet, praying they don't make a typo that leads to you selling a product you don't actually have in stock. We've all been there, the dreaded oversell. Your marketing team runs a brilliant campaign, generating hundreds of leads. But do they know which of those leads turned into actual paying customers with a high lifetime value? Not without begging the sales and accounting teams to pull 3 different reports and stitch them together. This isn't just inefficient. It's a silent killer of growth. It's a hidden tax on every single transaction in your business. Let's call it the integration tax. You aren't just paying for the monthly subscriptions to all these different apps. You're paying in wasted payroll hours. Let's do some quick math. If you have just 2 employees spending 1 hour a day on manual data entry and report juggling, at an average loaded cost of say $50 an hour, that's $100 a day. That's $500 a week. That is $26,000 a year. Gone. Vanished into thin air. Spent on a problem your software should have been solving for you from day one. You're paying in costly human errors, shipping the wrong product, invoicing the wrong amount, missing a critical follow-up. And most importantly, you're paying a massive opportunity cost because you can't get a clear, real-time 360-degree view of your own company. You're trying to make critical business decisions based on outdated, fragmented data. You're flying blind and you're paying a premium for the privilege. Now, I want you to imagine a different reality. A world where your sales, accounting, inventory, website, marketing, manufacturing, and customer service all live under one roof. They operate from a single unified database. One system, one single source of truth. A customer buys a product from your website. Instantly, the inventory count for that product is updated across the entire system. An invoice is automatically generated in the accounting module. The customer's record is updated, and they're automatically added to a post-purchase marketing sequence. Your sales team can see the entire history of that customer. Every purchase, every support ticket, every interaction with a single click. Your production manager on the factory floor sees the demand shift in real time and can adjust the manufacturing schedule accordingly. This isn't a pipe dream. This is what a true ERP and enterprise resource planning system is designed to do. And one of the most powerful, flexible, and fastest-growing ERPs on the planet right now is a system called Odoo. But here is where the story gets tricky. This is the exact point where most American businesses make a critical and often incredibly expensive mistake. You go to Odoo's website, you see the power, you get excited, and you're immediately faced with a choice. Odoo Community or Odoo Enterprise. One is proudly advertised as free and open source. The other has a monthly per-user price tag. And the temptation, especially for a savvy, cost-conscious business owner, is to jump straight for the free version. Feels like a complete no-brainer. Why on earth would I pay for something when I can get it for free? This single decision, often made in the first 5 minutes of research, can be the difference between unlocking explosive, streamlined growth for your company or trapping it in a technical quicksand that's even more frustrating and costly than the software Frankenstein you were trying to escape in the first place. That is exactly why I made this video. We are going to cut through all the marketing hype, all the technical jargon, and all the forum debates to give you the unfiltered, battle-tested truth about Odoo Community versus Enterprise, specifically for a US-based business like yours. We're not just going to read you a feature comparison chart. We are going to expose the hidden operational costs, the legal and compliance landmines, and the strategic deal breakers that you will never find on a pricing page. By the end of this presentation, you will have a crystal clear framework to decide which version is the right strategic investment for your company's future. You'll know which one supports crucial US business functions like GAAP-compliant accounting, integrated payroll, and automated sales tax calculations. You'll understand the real total cost of ownership, not just the sticker price. And you'll walk away with the confidence that you're making a 10-year decision that will save you money, time, and a world of pain. I've spent years in the trenches, implementing Odoo for businesses of all shapes and sizes. I've personally migrated a company off a $250,000 NetSuite implementation onto Odoo Enterprise, saving them over 70% in annual fees while increasing their functionality. And on the flip side, I've been called in to rescue businesses that have sunk $50,000, even $100,000 into paying developers to try and force the free community version to do things it was never, ever designed to do. I've seen the incredible success stories, and I've seen the heartbreaking, expensive failures. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, the choice isn't about free versus paid. It's about right fit versus disaster. So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to analyze this decision through the 3 core pillars that every US business owner must understand. First, we'll tackle functionality. And I'm not talking about nice-to-have bells and whistles. We're talking about the core, must-have operational tools for accounting, manufacturing, and sales that are completely missing from one version and can mean the difference between scaling up and shutting down. Second, we'll dissect the true cost. We're going way beyond the subscription fee to uncover the hidden expenses of hosting, maintenance, third-party apps, and custom development that can make the free option shockingly more expensive in the long run. We'll show you how a free system can easily cost you 3 times more than the paid version over a 3-year period. And third, we'll look at support and upgrades, the critical safety net. This is about who you call when your entire system goes down on Black Friday, and how you ensure your platform stays modern and secure. And make sure you stick around for that third point, because the way Odoo handles major version upgrades is a fundamental game changer, and it's a detail that blindsides 9 out of 10 businesses who choose incorrectly. Let's get right into it, starting with the single biggest and most important difference for any serious American business: the accounting module. This alone is often the deciding factor, and for a very, very good reason. Think of your business like a human body. You have sales as your arms, marketing as your voice, operations as your legs. But accounting is the central nervous system and the circulatory system combined. It's the one system that touches everything else, tells you if you're healthy, and without which the entire body collapses. In the United States, that system has to be rock solid, because if it's not, you're not just unhealthy, you're in legal jeopardy with entities like the IRS. So let's talk about Odoo Community. What does its accounting look like? This is where the confusion starts. Odoo Community doesn't really have an accounting module. What it has is an invoicing module. You can create invoices, send them to customers, and track payments against those invoices. That's it. It's a cash register. It can tell you that money came in, but it can't give you the full picture. It lacks the fundamental tools that constitute a true accounting system in the US. There's no proper GAAP-compliant chart of accounts out of the box. There's no general ledger. There are no standard financial reports like a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, or a cash flow statement. Bank reconciliation is a painful manual process. And what about sales tax? In the US, sales tax is a labyrinth of state, county, and city rules. Community has no built-in mechanism to handle this complexity. Want to manage vendor bills effectively? Want to print checks? Need to generate 1099s for your contractors at the end of the year? Odoo Community by itself simply does not do these things. Now, at this point, you'll hear a very loud argument from the die-hard community advocates. They'll say, wait, you can just install third-party apps to get all that functionality. The Odoo Community Association, or OCA, has modules for everything. And on the surface, they're not wrong. The OCA is a global community of brilliant developers who volunteer their time to create and maintain a massive library of free modules that extend Odoo Community's features. And for many parts of the system, their work is fantastic. But for the financial core of your American business, relying on this approach is like performing your own heart surgery using a DIY kit you found on the internet. It's a catastrophic risk. Let's break down why. First, let's talk about support and accountability. You install a third-party accounting module from the OCA. 6 months later, you're trying to close the books and your balance sheet isn't balancing. Something is deeply wrong. Who do you call? The original developer is a volunteer in Belgium who hasn't touched the code in a year because they got a new job. Your Odoo implementation partner? They didn't write the code, so they'll have to charge you an exorbitant hourly rate to try and debug someone else's complex work. You're stuck in a finger-pointing nightmare where everyone is responsible, which means no one is. Second, consider the risk of abandonment. Odoo releases a new version every year. What if the volunteer developer of your critical accounting module decides they don't have the time or interest to update it for the new version? Your entire business is now stranded on an old, unsupported version of Odoo, unable to get new features or security updates, all because one person's life priorities changed. Your company's future is literally held hostage by a stranger's hobby. Third, and this is a big one, is the Franken-system problem. You don't just need one accounting app, you need a whole suite. You might grab a general ledger app from one developer, a check printing app from another, and a bank reconciliation tool from a third. Do they all work together perfectly? Were they designed to? What happens when one developer updates their module, and it breaks the functionality of another? You end up with a fragile, cobbled-together system that is constantly breaking. The money you thought you were saving on licenses gets burned 10 times over paying consultants to just keep the lights on. This is the fundamental trap of Odoo Community for any serious American business. You can technically make it work, but the cost and risk, instability, and hidden consulting fees is astronomical. Now let's pivot to Odoo Enterprise. The difference is night and day. With Enterprise, you get a complete, professional, fully integrated, and officially supported accounting suite designed specifically for the US market. It's not an add-on. It's a core, polished part of the platform. Right out of the box, you have a pre-configured GAAP-compliant chart of accounts. You have a real-time general ledger. You can generate a profit and loss, a balance sheet, and a cash flow statement with the click of a button. These aren't just reports. They are powerful, drill-down analytical tools that give you true insight into the financial health of your business. Your CPA will understand these reports instantly. Bank reconciliation, a tedious chore in Community, becomes a superpower in Enterprise. You can link your bank accounts directly. Odoo's AI will automatically fetch your statements and suggest matching 95% of your transactions for you. A task that took hours now takes minutes. And what about that sales tax nightmare? Odoo Enterprise has built-in integrations with tax calculation services that automatically apply the correct sales tax rates based on your customer's address, right down to the specific jurisdiction. It takes a massive compliance burden right off your shoulders. Need to manage vendor bills with a 3-way matching process against purchase orders and receipts? It's built in. Need to manage fixed assets and automatically post depreciation entries? It's built in. Need to create sophisticated budgets and track your performance against them? It's all there. And the most important part, it is all supported by Odoo and by your implementation partner. There is a contract. There is a service level agreement. There is a throat to choke. When something goes wrong, you have a professional team contractually obligated to fix it. The code is vetted for security, it's tested for performance, and it is guaranteed to be updated with every new version of Odoo. So the choice isn't really free accounting versus paid accounting. The choice is a high-risk collection of unsupported, volunteer-made invoicing tools versus a professional, stable, and secure financial management system for your entire business. When you look at it that way, for any US business that has moved beyond the garage startup phase, the decision becomes crystal clear. Your accounting system is not the place to cut corners. It's the foundation upon which your entire company is built. Investing in the Enterprise accounting suite isn't an expense. It's insurance. It's a strategic investment in stability, compliance, and peace of mind. Now, while accounting is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the why Enterprise debate, it's far from the only reason. The next major battleground is a feature that can literally make or break your entire manufacturing or inventory-based business, and the difference between the two versions is just as stark. I'm talking about the Manufacturing Resource Planning, or MRP module. So let's break down this manufacturing beast. The Community Edition of Odoo gives you a surprisingly capable, but fundamentally basic manufacturing module. Think of it as a solid foundation. You can define a bill of materials or BOM, which is just a fancy recipe for your product. You need 2 handlebars, 1 frame, 2 wheels, and a seat to make 1 bicycle. Got it? You can then create manufacturing orders based on that BOM. You tell the system, I need to make 50 bicycles, and it knows what components to pull from inventory. It can even handle basic routing, meaning you can define the steps. Step 1, assemble the frame. Step 2, attach the wheels. Step 3, install the handlebars and seat. For a small-scale operation, a startup, or a business with a very straightforward linear assembly process, this is often enough. If you're a custom woodworker making tables, or a small shop assembling pre-made kits, Odoo Community has your back. Gets the core job done. You can track what you're building, what you've built, and the basic components you used. But the moment your business starts to grow, the moment complexity enters the picture, this solid foundation starts to show its cracks. And those cracks can quickly become catastrophic failures. This is where Odoo Enterprise doesn't just add a few features. It fundamentally changes the game. It transforms the manufacturing module from a simple instruction manual into an intelligent, dynamic command center for your entire operation. Let's start with the big one, the Master Production Schedule, or MPS. The community version is reactive. You get an order, you make a manufacturing order. The Enterprise MPS is proactive. It allows you to plan your production based on forecasts, not just current sales. You can look at your sales history, seasonal trends, and strategic goals to say, over the next 6 months, we need to produce 10,000 units, ramping up in the fall and slowing down in January. The MPS then automatically generates manufacturing and purchase orders to meet that demand, ensuring you have the right components at the right time without tying up all your cash in excess inventory. It's the difference between being a short order cook, flipping burgers as tickets come in, and being the executive chef of a Michelin star restaurant, planning your entire menu and supply chain months in advance. For any US business looking to scale, this isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Next up is a feature that is absolutely critical for modern American manufacturing: subcontracting. It's incredibly common for businesses to handle final assembly in-house but outsource specific processes, like powder coating, specialized welding, or circuit board printing. In Odoo Community, this is a logistical nightmare. You have to create complex workarounds, manually tracking inventory that has left your building but that you still technically own. It's messy, error-prone, and a massive time sink. Odoo Enterprise has a dedicated, seamless subcontracting workflow. You can add a subcontractor to your bill of materials just like any other component. The system will automatically generate the transfer orders to send them the raw materials and create the purchase orders for their service. When the finished subcontracted parts arrive back at your facility, the system receives them back into your inventory, ready for the next stage of production. It's clean, it's trackable, and it provides a true picture of your costs and inventory location at all times. But what about the quality of those parts, whether they come from a subcontractor or your own assembly line? This brings us to the Quality Control Module, an enterprise-exclusive feature. In today's market, your brand's reputation is everything. One bad batch, one product recall can be devastating. The Enterprise Quality Module allows you to build quality checks directly into your workflow. You can set up automatic checks at different stages: upon receipt of raw materials, during a specific manufacturing step, or before final shipment. You can define pass/fail criteria, take measurements, and even require photographic evidence. If a batch of raw materials from a supplier fails a quality check, the system can automatically block it from being used in production. This isn't just about catching mistakes. It's about building a systematic process of excellence and protecting your business from costly errors and reputational damage. Now let's go down to the shop floor itself. How are your workers actually interacting with the system? In the community version, they're likely looking at a printed out work order sheet. They complete a step, maybe they tick a box. At the end of the day, someone has to manually enter all that data into the system. There's a delay, and there's a high chance of human error. Odoo Enterprise introduces the Work Center Control Panel, often called the tablet view. This puts a tablet or terminal at each workstation. The employee sees a clear, simple interface showing them their exact queue of tasks. They can pull up work instructions, diagrams, and those quality check sheets we just talked about. They can scan barcodes to start and stop jobs, automatically tracking their time with pinpoint accuracy. If a machine breaks down, they can flag it immediately. This provides management with a real-time, up-to-the-second view of what is happening on the factory floor. You can see bottlenecks as they form, not after they've already cost you a day of production. It's about replacing guesswork and delayed data with immediate, actionable intelligence. And speaking of machines breaking down, Enterprise also includes a full maintenance module. You can schedule preventative maintenance on your critical equipment based on time or usage. The system will automatically create maintenance requests, schedule technicians, and track the work. This proactive approach prevents the catastrophic failures that bring your entire production line to a halt. In Community, you track this on a whiteboard or a spreadsheet. In Enterprise, it's integrated directly with your production schedule, ensuring you're not scheduling maintenance during your busiest week. Finally, for businesses involved in engineering and product development, there's Product Lifecycle Management, or PLM. This allows you to manage engineering changes and versioning of your products and BOMs. Imagine you make a small improvement to your product, requiring a different screw and a slightly larger hole. With PLM, you can manage this change, get it approved, and version your bill of materials. This ensures that from that point forward, manufacturing uses the new, improved version, while any repairs or work on older models still reference the correct, original BOM. It prevents the chaos of building products with mismatched or outdated components. So let's put it all together with a story. Imagine you run a business in California that makes high-end electric skateboards. You start small, assembling them in a garage. Odoo Community is perfect. You have a BOM for your stealth model and a BOM for your cruiser model. Life is good. But then you get a huge order from a national retailer. Suddenly, you need to make 5,000 boards in 3 months. You can't just react anymore. You need to plan. That's where Community breaks down. You're trying to build a forecast in Excel, but it doesn't connect to your inventory. You decide to outsource the custom deck engraving to a local shop, but you're losing track of which decks are where. A batch of batteries arrives, and you later find out half of them are duds, but only after they've been installed in 200 boards that now need to be reworked. Your assembly team is using paper checklists, and you realize they've been using the wrong bearings on the stealth model for 2 weeks. Your main CNC machine, the one that cuts the enclosures, goes down for 3 days, completely halting production because no one remembered to do the scheduled maintenance. This is the reality of trying to scale a manufacturing business on a system that isn't built for scale. Now, imagine that same company with Odoo Enterprise. They use the master production schedule to map out the entire 5,000 unit order, automatically generating purchase orders for wheels and motors. The subcontracting feature manages the 5,000 decks going to and from the engraver flawlessly. A mandatory quality checkpoint on all incoming batteries catches the faulty batch at the receiving dock before it ever enters your assembly line. On the shop floor, tablets guide the assemblers, ensuring they use the correct bearings for each model and tracking their time perfectly. And the CNC machine? It never broke down, because the integrated maintenance module scheduled a service for it during a planned slow period 2 weeks earlier. That's the difference. It's not about a few extra bells and whistles. It's the difference between a system that helps you manage your current, simple process, and a system that gives you the tools to build a complex, scalable, and resilient manufacturing operation. It's about moving from chaos to control. But even if you have the world's most efficient factory, it means nothing if you can't manage the money. The flow of cash is the lifeblood of your business, and the way Odoo handles accounting is another night and day difference between Community and Enterprise, especially when it comes to the specific, complex demands of US GAAP and tax reporting. And that's exactly where we're going next. Alright, let's talk about the single biggest, most non-negotiable function in your business. Accounting. Getting your money right. Because if you mess this up, nothing else matters. The IRS doesn't care how great your product is if your books are a disaster. Your investors won't care about your growth projections if you can't produce a GAAP-compliant balance sheet. And this right here is one of the starkest dividing lines between Odoo Community and Odoo Enterprise for any business operating in the United States. Think of Odoo Community's accounting module as a basic, universal toolkit. It has a hammer, a screwdriver, and a wrench. You can build things with it, absolutely. It tracks invoices, payments, and journal entries. For a small business in a country with a very simple tax system, it might be enough. But the US financial landscape isn't a simple birdhouse. It's a skyscraper with 1,000 different building codes, and you can't build it with a basic toolkit. You need specialized power tools. That's Odoo Enterprise accounting. Let's start with the most tedious, soul-crushing task in any bookkeeper's life: bank reconciliation. In Odoo Community, you get a manual process. You log into your bank account, you export your statement as a CSV or OFX file, you go back into Odoo, and you import it. Then the fun begins. You have to manually match each and every transaction from that statement to an invoice, a bill, or a payment record in Odoo. If a customer paid you $500.25 for an invoice of $500, you have to figure out that 25-cent difference. If the bank description is vague, you're digging through emails and records to figure out what that charge was for. For a business with just a handful of transactions a month, this is annoying. For a business with hundreds or thousands, it's an absolute nightmare. It's a full-time job in itself, and it's incredibly prone to human error. Now let's look at Enterprise. Enterprise doesn't just import a file. It plugs your business directly into the US banking system. It uses services like Plaid and Yodlee to create a live, secure feed from over 15,000 financial institutions in North America. This isn't a once-a-month import. This is an automatic, daily synchronization. Every morning you come in, and all of your bank transactions from the previous day are already sitting in Odoo, waiting for you. But here's where the magic happens. Odoo Enterprise uses artificial intelligence to learn your habits. The first time it sees a charge from Chevron, it might ask you what it is. You categorize it as vehicle fuel. The next time it sees a charge from Chevron, or even Texaco, it will automatically propose vehicle fuel. It learns your vendors, your customers, your recurring bills. Over time, it can automatically reconcile 80, 90, even 95% of your transactions without you lifting a finger. What used to be a week of painful, manual data entry at the end of every month becomes a 15-minute review every morning. The amount of time and money this saves is staggering. For many US businesses, this feature alone is worth the entire enterprise license fee. But it goes much deeper. Let's talk about reporting. The United States operates on Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, or GAAP. These are the rules of the road for financial reporting. Your CPA, your bank, and any potential investors will expect your financial statements, your profit and loss, your balance sheet, your statement of cash flows, to be GAAP compliant. Odoo Community gives you basic versions of these reports. They're technically functional, but they're not built with the nuances of US GAAP in mind. It's like getting a generic world map when you need a detailed street map of New York City. Odoo Enterprise, on the other hand, comes with a pre-configured US-specific chart of accounts and reporting packages that are designed to align with GAAP standards. The reports are more detailed, more flexible, and structured in a way that your American CPA will immediately recognize and trust. Enterprise also unlocks critical accounting features that are essential for growing US businesses. Let's say you sell software subscriptions or annual service contracts. Under GAAP, you can't recognize all that revenue the day the customer pays you. You have to recognize it over the life of the contract. This is called deferred revenue, and managing it manually is complex. Odoo Enterprise has a dedicated deferred revenue management system that automates this entire process, ensuring your P&L is accurate and compliant. What about your company assets? Your trucks, your computers, your machinery. These things depreciate over time, and that depreciation is an expense that needs to be tracked for both accounting and tax purposes. Odoo Community has no built-in way to handle this. You're stuck tracking it all on a separate spreadsheet. Odoo Enterprise has a full-featured asset management module. You enter the asset, its cost, and its depreciation schedule, like straight line or declining balance. And Odoo automatically posts the depreciation entries every single month. No spreadsheets, no manual journal entries, no forgetting. It's accurate, automated, and audit-proof. Now for the real monster. The one issue that sends shivers down the spine of every e-commerce and multi-state business in America: sales tax. The US doesn't have a single national sales tax. We have a chaotic, mind-bogglingly complex web of over 13,000 different tax jurisdictions. There are state taxes, county taxes, city taxes, and even special district taxes. The rate you charge depends on exactly where your customer is located, and sometimes on the specific type of product you're selling. Keeping up with these rates and rules is impossible to do manually. Odoo Community's approach to this? It gives you a box and says, good luck. You can manually create tax rates. So if you only sell in your own city, you can create one rate for, say, 8.25%. But what happens when you sell to someone in another state, or even another county? You would have to manually research the correct rate for that specific address and create a new tax rule for it. Every single time. It's completely unworkable for any business that sells online or across state lines. It's a compliance disaster waiting to happen. Odoo Enterprise solves this with its automated tax calculation engine. It integrates with tax compliance services that maintain a real-time database of every single tax rate in the United States. When a customer in Boulder, Colorado buys from your website, Odoo automatically sends the shipping address to the tax engine, gets the exact, up-to-the-minute correct tax rate for that specific location, and applies it to the order. It handles everything: the weird tax holidays, the rules about whether shipping is taxable, the different rates for clothing versus software. This isn't just a convenience, it's a legal shield. It protects your business from the massive penalties and back taxes that come from getting sales tax wrong. For any US business selling beyond its local town, this feature isn't a luxury, it's a fundamental requirement. Finally, let's touch on the simple mechanics of moving money. Many B2B transactions in the US are still done via paper checks or ACH bank transfers. Odoo Enterprise streamlines this. It has pre-configured formats to print checks directly from the system onto standard US check stock. It also has much smoother integrations for processing ACH payments, both for paying your vendors and getting paid by your customers. In Community, getting these things to work often requires significant custom development or clunky third-party apps. Enterprise makes it a standard, supported part of your workflow. So when you look at the whole picture for accounting, the choice becomes crystal clear. Odoo Community gives you the bare essentials. But for a US business, the bare essentials aren't enough. You need automated bank feeds to save hundreds of hours. You need GAAP-compliant reporting and tools like deferred revenue and asset management to keep your books clean and your investors happy. And most importantly, you need an automated sales tax engine to stay compliant in a ridiculously complex tax environment. Choosing Community for a serious US business means you're essentially signing up to pay a developer or an army of bookkeepers to manually replicate all the functionality that Enterprise provides right out of the box. The cost of that manual work and the risk of error will almost always outweigh the cost of the Enterprise license. Getting your financials right is the bedrock of your company. It's not the place to cut corners, but a solid financial foundation is just the beginning. Once your money is in order, you have to actually make and deliver your product. And when we pivot from the back office to the factory floor and the warehouse, the differences between Community and Enterprise become even more dramatic. We're about to explore the world of advanced manufacturing, barcode scanning, and sophisticated inventory management. And this is where Odoo truly shows its power to transform the core operations of a business. And this is where the differences between Community and Enterprise become even more dramatic. We're about to explore the world of advanced manufacturing, barcode scanning, and sophisticated inventory management. And this is where Odoo truly shows its power to transform the core operations of a business. For any American business that physically makes a product, this next section is critical. Let's start with manufacturing. Odoo Community Edition includes a manufacturing app. It's functional. You can create a bill of materials or BOM, which is basically a recipe for your product. You can create a manufacturing order, tell the system you want to build 10 of your widgets, and it will consume the necessary components from your inventory and produce the finished goods. For a very simple assembly operation, let's say you're building basic gift baskets or assembling a simple piece of furniture with no complex steps. Community might just be enough to get you by. It's a digital replacement for a paper build sheet. But the moment your process has more than one step, the moment you need to schedule work, track labor, or manage your shop floor capacity, you've smashed headfirst into the ceiling of Community Edition. This is where Odoo Enterprise doesn't just add a feature. It introduces a completely different philosophy of production management. Enterprise introduces the concepts of work centers and routings. Think about it. You don't just make a product. You perform a series of operations. For a custom cabinet maker, you don't just build a cabinet. You have a cutting station, a sanding station, an assembly station, and a finishing or painting booth. Each of these is a work center in Odoo Enterprise. The routing defines the specific sequence of steps the product must go through. Cut first, then sand, then assemble, then finish. Why is this so monumentally important? Because it transforms your ERP from a simple inventory ledger into a true production planning system. With work centers, you can define the capacity of each station. Your cutting saw can run for 8 hours a day. Your painting booth needs 24 hours for a coat to cure. By knowing this, Odoo Enterprise can schedule jobs intelligently. It can tell you that you can start production on a new order next Tuesday at 10 a.m. because that's when the cutting station will be free. It can show you, visually on a Gantt chart, your entire production schedule. It allows you to identify bottlenecks. If jobs are always piling up waiting for the finishing booth, you know exactly where you need to invest in a second booth or another employee to increase your throughput. In Community, you're flying blind, managing all of this on a whiteboard or in a spreadsheet. In Enterprise, it's automated, visible, and optimized. But it goes even deeper. Enterprise brings in the Master Production Schedule, or MPS. This is a tool used by serious manufacturing businesses to plan for the future. Community manufacturing is purely reactive. You get a sales order, you create a manufacturing order. The MPS in Enterprise allows you to be proactive. You can load in your sales forecast. Let's say you run a business making high-end grills and you know demand spikes every spring leading into summer. You can tell the MPS you expect to sell 500 units in May and 800 in June. Odoo will then look at your current inventory, your lead times for raw materials, and your production capacity, and it will suggest a production plan months in advance. It will tell you that to meet June's demand, you need to start building sub-assemblies in April and order your steel in March. This is the difference between frantically trying to keep up with orders and strategically running a smooth, efficient factory. For any U.S. business trying to scale its manufacturing, the MPS isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And what about modern manufacturing where you don't do everything in-house? Enterprise has native support for subcontracting. Let's say you build metal components, but you send them out to another local business for a specialized powder coating finish. In Community, this is a logistical nightmare to track. You have to treat it like you sold the parts and then bought them back. It messes up your inventory and your accounting. In Enterprise, subcontracting is a checkbox on your bill of materials. The system knows to create a transfer to send the unfinished parts to your subcontractor, tracks them while they're off-site, and manages the purchase order for the service. It's seamless. This entire manufacturing ecosystem is the engine room of a physical product business. And while Community gives you a paddle, Enterprise gives you a twin-turbo V8 engine with a GPS. Now, let's move from making things to moving things. Inventory and warehouse management. This is an area where the difference is so stark, it's almost unbelievable that the two versions share the same name. Again, Odoo Community has an inventory app. You can define warehouse locations, you can track stock levels, you can manually process receipts and deliveries. It's a database. It tells you the computer thinks you have 52 units of SKU 123 on shelf A, rack 4. But the link between that digital number and the physical reality in your warehouse is a human being. And human beings make mistakes. They put things on the wrong shelf. They grab the wrong item for an order. They transpose numbers when writing down a serial number. Every single error costs you money in wasted time, in customer returns, and in lost inventory. Odoo Enterprise introduces the barcode app. And please do not underestimate the power of this. This isn't just about scanning an item at a point of sale. The barcode app integrates a handheld scanner, which can be a dedicated industrial device or even just a smartphone, into every single physical movement in your warehouse. Let's walk through the life of an order. A truck with your purchase order arrives. With Community, your guy has a printed out piece of paper. He counts boxes, checks them off, then walks back to a computer to manually type in that the shipment was received. With Enterprise, he grabs a scanner. He scans the barcode on the purchase order document. The scanner screen immediately shows him what he's supposed to be receiving. As the boxes come off the truck, he scans the barcode on each one. The system validates it in real time. If the supplier sent the wrong item, the scanner buzzes and flashes red. If they sent too many, it tells him. Before the truck driver has even left the loading dock, you have a 100% accurate digital record of what you received with zero data entry errors. But where does it go? In Community, the worker decides where to put it and hopefully remembers to update the system later. In Enterprise, the scanner directs him. It knows the optimal storage location for that product, its put-away rule, and tells him, take this to location A4B. When he gets there, he scans the barcode on the shelf to confirm the location, then scans the product again to confirm he put it there. The system now knows with absolute certainty exactly where that product is. Now a customer order comes in. In Community, you print a pick list. Your warehouse worker walks up and down the aisles, hunting for items. In Enterprise, the scanner gets the order and creates a hyper-optimized picking route, guiding the worker from location to location in the most efficient path possible to minimize travel time. At each location, he scans the shelf, then scans the product. If he accidentally grabs the wrong item, the blue widget instead of the red one, the scanner immediately alerts him. This single feature can virtually eliminate mispicks, which for any e-commerce business is a silent killer of profits and customer goodwill. This barcode-driven workflow applies to everything: inventory counts, internal transfers between locations, packing, and shipping. It closes the loop between the digital world of your ERP and the physical reality of your warehouse. It turns a chaotic, error-prone environment into a well-oiled, efficient, and accurate machine. For a US business competing on speed and accuracy, and who isn't these days? This isn't just a nice-to-have. This is how you build a scalable, professional-grade logistics operation that can compete with the big guys. It's the difference between guessing where your inventory is and knowing. And in business, knowing is everything. And that kind of knowing, that real-time visibility, doesn't just stop with a box on a shelf. It extends to the single most important metric in your entire business, your money. This is where we hit the biggest, most consequential dividing line between Odoo Community and Odoo Enterprise. And for a US business, this isn't a small crack in the pavement, it's the Grand Canyon. Let's talk about accounting. For so many businesses, the story is the same. You start out, you're growing, you're using a patchwork of systems. Maybe you're running your operations on Odoo Community, and it's great. Your sales team is creating quotes, your warehouse is processing deliveries. But for the books, you're still tethered to QuickBooks, or Xero, or worse, a mountain of spreadsheets. Every single day, you live in a world of dual data entry. An invoice gets paid in Odoo, and someone has to manually mark it as paid in QuickBooks. You receive a vendor bill, you enter it into your accounting software, then you have to go into Odoo to mark the purchase order as billed. It's a constant, tedious, soul-crushing reconciliation process. And the worst part? Your systems are always out of sync. Your sales team is looking at one set of numbers, your accounting team is looking at another, and you, the owner, are trying to make critical decisions based on information that might be a week or even a month out of date. You're flying blind. You think you had a great sales month, but you don't realize your cost of goods sold skyrocketed until your accountant closes the books 20 days later. That lag, that disconnect is where businesses fail. It's the fog of war for entrepreneurs. Now you might be thinking, but wait, Odoo Community has an accounting app. And you're right, it does. But here's the brutal truth for anyone operating in the United States. The accounting app in Odoo Community is fundamentally incomplete for our market. It's a framework, a starting point. It's missing the critical connections and automations that a modern US business absolutely requires. It lacks automated bank feeds, has very basic reporting, and is missing many of the nuanced features needed for things like US GAAP compliance or complex tax reporting. Trying to run a serious US business on community accounting is like trying to build a house with just a hammer and a saw. You can frame it out, but you can't install the plumbing, the electricity, or the HVAC. You can't actually live in it. This is where Odoo Enterprise doesn't just offer a feature. It offers a fundamental paradigm shift. It replaces that entire fractured, out-of-sync mess with a single, unified, intelligent system. The Odoo Enterprise Accounting Suite is the heart of the entire platform. And it is, without a doubt, one of the most compelling reasons to make the investment. Let's start with the feature that will immediately change your life: real-time bank synchronization. In the US, Enterprise connects directly and securely to over 15,000 financial institutions. Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, local credit unions, you name it. This means every single morning, all of your bank transactions from the previous day are automatically pulled into your Odoo database. No more manually downloading CSV files. No more typos from manual data entry. It's just there. But it gets better. Odoo's reconciliation tool is incredibly smart. It sees an incoming payment of $1,507.22. It then scans your open invoices and sees that you have an outstanding invoice for exactly $1,507.22 for Acme Corporation. With one click, you validate the match. The invoice is marked as paid, the journal entries are created, and the payment is reconciled. What used to take your bookkeeper hours of tedious line-by-line matching now takes minutes. Odoo even learns. If you consistently match payments from Acme Corporate to their account, the system will start suggesting the match with even higher confidence, saving you even more time. This isn't just a convenience. It's a force multiplier for your finance team. Next, let's talk about getting information out of the system. In your old QuickBooks world, you run a profit and loss statement. It gives you a number. Let's say your office supplies expense looks high. What do? You have to leave the report, go dig through a list of bills, find the right ones, and try to figure out what happened. It's a detective story every single time. In Odoo Enterprise, your financial reports are alive. They're dynamic. You're looking at your P&L, you see that office supplies number, and you just click on it. Odoo instantly drills down to show you every single journal item that makes up that number. You see a large bill from Staples. You click again. Now you're looking at the actual vendor bill. complete with a scanned PDF of the original invoice attached to it. You click one more time, and you're at the original purchase order that started the whole process. In 15 seconds, you've gone from a high-level summary on your P&L all the way down to the source document without ever leaving your screen. This is what we mean by a single source of truth. It's financial archaeology at the speed of light. You can do this with your balance sheet, your cash flow statement, your aged receivables. Every number is a doorway to the real story behind it. But what about getting information into the system? Enterprise introduces AI-powered invoice recognition. This is pure magic. You get a bill from a vendor. You can email it to a special Odoo inbox, or just scan it using the mobile app. Odoo's AI reads the document. It identifies the vendor, pulls the invoice date, the due date, the line items, the taxes, and the total amount, and automatically creates a draft vendor bill for you. It can process up to 98% of the information with stunning accuracy. Imagine your accounts payable process. Instead of a person manually typing in data from 50 invoices, they're simply validating what the AI has already done for them. This single feature can reclaim hundreds of hours of administrative work a year. And we're just scratching the surface. Odoo Enterprise gives you a full-featured budgeting system. You can set budgets for different departments or projects, and then run real-time budget variance reports to see exactly how you're tracking. It has a complete asset management module, allowing you to automatically track the depreciation of your computers, vehicles, and equipment over time, generating all the correct journal entries along the way. For businesses that are growing in complexity, Enterprise offers perhaps the most powerful feature of all: multi-company consolidation. Let's say you operate 2 legal entities in the US. Maybe one for your retail operations and one for your wholesale distribution. In the QuickBooks world, this is a nightmare. You have 2 separate company files. To get a consolidated view of your overall financial health, you have to export data from both, dump it into a master spreadsheet, and pray your formulas are correct. It's a fragile, error-prone process that takes days. In Odoo Enterprise, you just run the consolidation report. You tell it which companies to include, and in seconds, it generates a fully consolidated P&L or balance sheet, automatically handling any intercompany transactions. It's a feature that used to be reserved for 6-figure ERP systems, and it's built right into the core of Odoo Enterprise. So when you compare Community and Enterprise on accounting, you're not comparing good versus better. You're comparing a disconnected, manual, and incomplete framework with a fully integrated, automated, and intelligent financial engine designed for the realities of the US market. It's the difference between looking at your business through a rearview mirror and looking at it through a real-time dashboard. This integration means your sales team closes a deal, and it's instantly reflected in your revenue forecast. Your warehouse receives a shipment, and that liability is immediately on your balance sheet. The financial impact of every single business operation is captured instantly and accurately. You're no longer just recording history. You're making decisions based on what is happening right now. And for a business that needs to move fast, that's not just an advantage, it's everything. It gives you the control and the confidence to steer your company's growth, knowing that the numbers you're looking at are the truth. And this single source of truth becomes even more powerful when we look at one of the most complex parts of any business: manufacturing and inventory management. For any US business that holds physical stock, whether you're a retailer, a distributor, or a full-blown manufacturer, this is where theory hits the pavement. It's where small inefficiencies bleed thousands of dollars, and where operational chaos can bring a growing company to its knees. This is also one of the areas where the line between Odoo Community and Odoo Enterprise is drawn not in sand, but in concrete and steel. Let's start with Odoo Community. Out of the box, you get a solid, capable inventory app. You can track products, manage locations, and process basic receipts and deliveries. You can define reordering rules to avoid stockouts. For a simple distribution or retail business, this might be enough to get you started. You can see what you have and where it is. But what happens when complexity enters the picture? Imagine you're a small but growing American manufacturer. Let's say you make high-end, configurable office furniture. You start on Community because you're lean. You have the basic inventory app, and for manufacturing you use the simple manufacturing app. You create a bill of materials, or BOM, for your standard desk. You create a manufacturing order, and the system tells you what components you need. It works. But then you start to grow. You introduce a new line of ergonomic chairs. You start offering custom wood finishes. Suddenly, your simple BOMs aren't so simple. You have variants. You have sub-assemblies. You find yourself managing dozens of manufacturing orders at once. Your shop floor manager is running around with a clipboard, trying to figure out which job to run next on the CNC machine. An urgent order comes in, but you can't tell if you have the capacity to produce it without delaying 3 other important orders. A batch of raw lumber arrives with a defect, but it's not caught until half of it has been cut, wasting both material and precious machine time. Your team is spending hours manually creating spreadsheets to try and plan production schedules, but they're always out of date. This is the ceiling of Odoo Community for a complex operation. It can tell you what to build, but it can't help you with the how, the when, or the where on your shop floor. It's a list of instructions, not a dynamic production playbook. You're constantly reacting to problems instead of proactively managing your operations. The single source of truth we talked about in accounting starts to get shaky because the data from your most critical value-adding department, the shop floor, is a black box. This is where Odoo Enterprise doesn't just add features. It fundamentally changes the game. It transforms your Odoo instance from a record-keeping system into a true manufacturing execution system, or MES. First, let's talk about the shop floor. Enterprise introduces the concepts of work centers and routings. A work center isn't just a location. It's a machine, a tool, a person, or an assembly line. It has a capacity, a cost per hour, and a specific function. A routing is the step-by-step recipe for building your product. It's not just take these parts and build a desk. It's step 1. Cut wood at the saw station for 25 minutes. Step 2. Sand and prep at the finishing station for 40 minutes. Step 3. Assemble at assembly bench 2 for 35 minutes. Suddenly, your production process has structure and data. When you launch a manufacturing order in Enterprise, the system automatically creates linked work orders for each step in the routing. Your shop floor manager now has a tablet interface showing every work center, what job is currently running, what's up next, and how long it's expected to take. Bottlenecks become immediately visible. You can see that the finishing station is backed up for the next 3 days, so you know you need to authorize overtime or reroute less critical jobs. You can track the actual time spent on each step versus the standard time, giving you priceless data to improve your efficiency and costing. This isn't just management. It's command and control over your entire production line. But what about that defective lumber? Odoo Enterprise introduces a fully integrated quality control module. You can build quality control points directly into your process. For our furniture maker, they can set a rule. Upon every receipt of premium oak lumber, a quality check is triggered. A worker is prompted to measure moisture content and check for visual defects before that lumber is ever accepted into sellable stock. You can set up checks during the manufacturing process, a dimensional check after the cutting step, a finish inspection before the final assembly. If a part fails, it's immediately flagged, preventing it from moving down the line and contaminating a final product. This saves unimaginable amounts of money in waste and rework, and more importantly, it protects your brand's reputation. As your products get more complex, Enterprise offers another powerhouse, Product Lifecycle Management, or PLM. This is for managing engineering change orders, or ECOs. Let's say your design team finds a more efficient way to build the desk's leg assembly, requiring a different screw and a new drill pattern. In Community, you just update the BOM and hope everyone gets the memo. In Enterprise, you create an ECO. It goes through an approval process. Once approved, the system automatically versions the BOM and the routing, ensuring that from that point forward, all new manufacturing orders use the new, improved design. It provides an auditable history of every change made to your product, which is critical for regulated industries and for maintaining quality control over time. Now let's step off the shop floor and into the warehouse. The difference here is just as dramatic, and it comes down to one core feature: barcode scanning. The Odoo Enterprise Barcode app is a native, fully integrated solution that runs on industrial scanners or even just a smartphone. This completely changes how you manage your physical inventory. With Community, a worker receives a pallet of goods. They go to a computer, find the purchase order, type in the quantity they received, and then physically put the pallet away. They might write the location on a piece of paper or try to remember it. It's slow and it's prone to human error. With Enterprise and a barcode scanner, the worker scans the purchase order document. The system pulls it up. They scan the product barcode and enter the quantity. Done. The system now knows the product is in the receiving area. Then, Odoo's advanced routing rules kick in. The system might have a rule to put this specific component away in aisle 5, rack B, shelf 3. The scanner screen tells the worker exactly where to go. When they get there, they scan the location barcode, confirming the product is in the right place. The entire process is guided, validated, and updated in real time. This extends to everything. Picking orders for delivery? The scanner gives you the most efficient path through the warehouse to pick all the items for 5 different orders at once. Performing a cycle count? Just scan the location, scan the products, enter the count, and the system automatically flags discrepancies. The efficiency gains are massive, but more importantly, your inventory accuracy, the foundation of that single source of truth, approaches perfection. You know what you have, and you know exactly where it is, down to the specific bin. This allows for more advanced strategies available in Enterprise, like cross-docking, where incoming goods are immediately routed to an outgoing shipment without ever being put away, saving enormous amounts of time and handling. So when you're looking at Odoo Community versus Enterprise for your US business that handles physical products, the question is about your operational complexity. If you simply buy and sell finished goods with low volume, Community can serve you well. But the moment you start assembling, manufacturing, or managing a high-volume warehouse where speed and accuracy are critical, you're entering Enterprise territory. Enterprise provides the tools not just to track your inventory, but to master your entire supply chain, from raw material quality to shop floor efficiency to the final scan of a package leaving your dock. It's the difference between having a list of your assets and having a living, breathing, intelligent system that optimizes how those assets flow through your business. And that same intelligence extends beyond the factory floor into the very financial heartbeat of your company. This brings us to what is, for many US businesses, the single most important and non-negotiable differentiator between Community and Enterprise: accounting. Let's be brutally honest here. The accounting functionality in Odoo Community is not really accounting. It's invoicing. It lets you create an invoice, send it to a customer, and mark it as paid. That's it. You cannot run a legitimate US business on that alone. You'd still need a separate, dedicated accounting system like QuickBooks or Xero, which completely defeats the purpose of an all-in-one ERP. You're back to managing 2 separate systems, manually entering data, dealing with synchronization errors, and trying to reconcile 2 different versions of the truth. It's a headache waiting to happen, and it puts a hard ceiling on your growth. Odoo Enterprise, on the other hand, delivers a full, robust, GAAP-compliant accounting suite designed for the American market. This isn't just an add-on. It's a foundational pillar of the system. We're talking about a full chart of accounts, accounts receivable, accounts payable, general ledger, and powerful financial reporting. You can manage assets, handle deferred revenue, and automate accrual and cash basis accounting. But the real magic for US businesses is the deep, native integration with our financial infrastructure. Enterprise includes automatic bank synchronization. Through integrations with services like Plaid, it securely connects to over 15,000 American banks and credit unions. Your bank statements are automatically imported every single day. Imagine this: you come into work on a Monday morning. Instead of spending hours manually downloading CSV files and trying to match payments to invoices, Odoo has already done it. It presents you with a list of proposed matches. This payment from ABC Corp matches this invoice. This deposit matches these 3 customer payments. You just click Validate. The system learns your patterns, getting smarter and faster over time. What used to take half a day now takes 10 minutes over a cup of coffee. This isn't just a convenience. It's a transformation in how you manage your cash flow. You have a real-time, up-to-the-minute view of your company's financial health right on your dashboard. No more guessing. No more waiting for the end-of-month report from your bookkeeper. You can make critical business decisions based on live data. And when tax season rolls around, forget the frantic search for receipts and the nightmare of reconciling a year's worth of messy spreadsheets. With Enterprise, you can generate your P&L, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statements with a single click. You can run tax reports specifically configured for US requirements. You're not just prepared for your accountant. You're handing them a perfectly organized, clean set of books that saves you a fortune in accounting fees and, more importantly, gives you peace of mind. For any business that has moved beyond the hobbyist stage, the accounting suite in Enterprise isn't a luxury. It's the cost of entry for serious, scalable operations. Now let's shift from the back office to the front lines: how you attract and manage your customers. In Community, you get some basic tools. You can send out email marketing blasts. It's like standing on a street corner with a megaphone. You can shout your message to a crowd, and maybe some people will listen. It's better than nothing, but it's not strategic. Odoo Enterprise gives you marketing automation. This is the difference between a megaphone and a team of expert salespeople having personalized conversations with thousands of potential customers simultaneously. With marketing automation, you can build sophisticated workflows that nurture leads from their very first visit to your website. Someone downloads a white paper, the system automatically tags them, adds them to a specific marketing campaign, and sends a follow-up email 3 days later. If they click a link in that email, it can notify a salesperson to make a call. If they don't, it can send them a different email with a case study a week later. You can score leads based on their actions. They get 5 points for visiting the pricing page, 10 points for watching a demo video. Once a lead reaches a certain score, they're automatically assigned to your top sales rep. This is how modern businesses scale their sales efforts. It's a smart automated funnel that works for you 24/7, ensuring that no lead ever falls through the cracks and that your sales team is always focused on the hottest, most qualified prospects. You simply cannot do this in Community. You're stuck with the megaphone, while your enterprise-powered competitors are building valuable, automated relationships. And what happens after you've won that customer? The relationship is just beginning. How you handle their questions, issues, and support requests defines whether they become a repeat customer and a raving fan, or a negative review on social media. Many small businesses start by managing support out of a shared email inbox, like support@mycompany.com. First it works. But as you grow, it descends into chaos. Emails get missed. 2 people reply to the same customer with different answers. There's no way to track response times or see which issues are most common. It's a black hole of customer frustration. Odoo Enterprise solves this with the Help Desk module. It transforms that chaotic inbox into a streamlined, professional ticketing system. Every customer request becomes a ticket. Tickets can be automatically assigned to the right team or person based on keywords or the product they're asking about. You can set up service level agreements or SLAs to ensure critical issues are addressed within a specific time frame. For example, a ticket marked urgent must have a first response within 1 hour. If it doesn't, it gets automatically escalated to a manager. This brings accountability and professionalism to your customer service. You have a complete history of every interaction with the customer, all in one place. Your team can see what's been tried, what was said, and what the resolution was. Furthermore, you can build a knowledge base of frequently asked questions, allowing customers to find answers themselves, deflecting tickets and freeing up your team to focus on more complex problems. For businesses that have technicians or staff in the field, like HVAC companies, IT consultants, or equipment repair services, Enterprise takes it a step further with the Field Service module. This connects your help desk directly to your mobile workforce. A customer calls with a broken machine. A ticket is created in the help desk. With one click, that ticket is converted into a field service task. You can see all your technicians on a map, view their schedules, and assign the job to the closest available person. The technician gets the notification on their Odoo mobile app. They have the customer's address, contact info, and a description of the problem right in their hand. They can track their time, use parts from their van's inventory, capture the customer's signature on the screen, and generate an invoice on the spot. This level of coordination from customer call to final invoice is a world away from the mess of phone calls, text messages, and paperwork orders it replaces. It's a level of operational excellence that builds incredible customer trust and loyalty. Finally, let's talk about the ultimate power-up, the feature that truly separates the two versions, Odoo Studio. In the world of ERPs, every business is unique. You'll always have that one special process, that one piece of information you need to track that isn't in the standard system. In Odoo Community, addressing this means one thing: custom code. You have to hire an Odoo developer, explain your requirements, wait for them to write, test, and deploy a custom module. It's powerful, but it can be expensive, time-consuming, and creates a long-term maintenance burden. Odoo Studio, an enterprise-exclusive app, changes the game completely. It's a visual drag-and-drop customization tool that allows non-technical users, business owners, managers, power users, to safely modify and extend Odoo without writing a single line of code. Want to add a new field to the customer form to track their industry? Just open Studio, drag a selection field onto the screen, type in your industry choices, and you're done. It's live in seconds. Need to create a new report to show sales by region? You can design it visually. Want to automate a process, like automatically sending an email to the warehouse manager when a sales order over $10,000 is confirmed? You can build that automation with a simple graphical editor. Studio empowers you to mold Odoo to fit your business perfectly, not the other way around. It democratizes customization. The people who understand the business processes best can now make the changes themselves instantly. This dramatically reduces your reliance on external developers, accelerates your ability to adapt, and lowers your total cost of ownership. It's the difference between asking someone else to build your house and being given a set of high-tech, intelligent Lego blocks to build and rebuild it yourself, exactly as you need it, whenever you need it. This combination of advanced financial management, intelligent marketing, professional service delivery, and limitless, code-free customization is what truly defines the enterprise experience. It's a suite of tools designed not just for running a business, but for scaling one. So, when we talk about scaling, we have to talk about the one thing that underpins it all, the true cost. Not just the price on a website, but the total cost of ownership. This is, without a doubt, the most misunderstood aspect of the community versus enterprise debate, and it's where most businesses make a catastrophic mistake. They see free, and their brains shut off to everything else. But in the world of enterprise software, free is never free. It's just a different kind of payment plan, and the currency is often your time, your sanity, and a whole lot of unforeseen developer bills. Let's dissect the total cost of ownership for Odoo Community first. Think of it as an iceberg. The tip of the iceberg, the part you see above the water, is the big, beautiful word free. It's incredibly attractive. You can download the source code right now for $0 and install it on a server. But it's what's lurking beneath the surface that can sink your business. First, there's hosting. You have to put that code somewhere. Are you going to manage your own server? That means you're now in the IT infrastructure business. You're responsible for server maintenance, security patches, backups, uptime, and performance tuning. This isn't a one-time setup. It's a constant, ongoing job. The cost isn't just the server rental from a provider like DigitalOcean or AWS. It's the man-hours, the expertise, and the stress of keeping your company's central nervous system online. Or you can pay a third-party service to host it for you, which immediately turns your free software into a monthly expense. Second, implementation and customization. Odoo Community is a fantastic core, but your business has unique processes. You need a specific report format. You need a custom field to track a critical piece of data. You need to integrate with a niche shipping provider. In Community, every single one of these requirements translates into a development task. You're either hiring a full-time Odoo developer, and I can tell you their salaries are not cheap, or you're paying an implementation partner by the hour. A simple custom report that might take a few clicks in Enterprise Studio could be a $500 or $1,000 project in Community. These small paper cuts of cost bleed you slowly over time. You become completely dependent on technical resources for even minor adjustments, creating a bottleneck that stifles your agility. Third, the Odoo App Store. This is the Wild West of the Community ecosystem. Need a feature that's an enterprise but not Community? There's probably an app for it. But these apps aren't a cohesive suite. They're built by hundreds of different developers all over the world. This creates a patchwork quilt of functionality. Each app might have its own subscription fee. One app might not be compatible with another. When Odoo releases a new version, you're praying that all 10 of your critical third-party app developers update their code in a timely manner. If one doesn't, your entire upgrade path is blocked, or worse, you upgrade and a key part of your business process breaks. The support for these apps is also a gamble. You're not dealing with Odoo. You're dealing with a small developer in a different time zone. That's a significant business risk. But the biggest, most dangerous, and most expensive part of the Community iceberg, the part that has crippled countless businesses, is the upgrade process. With Community, you do not get access to Odoo's seamless upgrade platform. When a new version of Odoo comes out with game-changing features and security updates, you are on your own. Upgrading a customized Odoo Community instance is a full-blown development project. It can take weeks, sometimes months of a developer's time. They have to manually migrate your database, test every customization, and fix all the breaking changes from your third-party apps. We're talking about projects that can easily cost $10,000, $20,000, even $50,000 or more, depending on the complexity. Because of this, many Community users find themselves version locked, stuck on an old, unsupported version of the software because the cost to upgrade is just too high. They miss out on innovation and are exposed to security vulnerabilities. This single factor is the hidden cost that makes free, an illusion for any serious, growing business. Now let's flip the coin and look at the total cost of ownership for Odoo Enterprise. Yes, there is an upfront license fee. It's transparent, it's predictable, and it's based on the number of users and the apps you need. For many, this is where the analysis stops. They compare a license fee to free and make their choice. But this is financial malpractice. You have to look at what that license fee buys you. First, it buys you peace of mind. The accounting, inventory, and manufacturing features alone are so much more advanced out of the box that they eliminate the need for dozens of custom development tasks you'd be forced to pay for with Community. You're starting the race halfway to the finish line. Second, it buys you Odoo Studio. This isn't just a feature. It's a fundamental shift in ownership. Studio allows your non-technical team members, your operations manager, your sales director, to make changes to the system themselves without writing a single line of code. Need to add a field to a customer record? Drag and drop. Want to design a new report? Point and click. Need to automate an approval workflow? Few simple rules. Every time you use Studio to solve a problem, you are saving hundreds or thousands of dollars you would have spent on a developer in the Community version. It democratizes customization and makes your business incredibly agile. Third, your license fee includes hosting on Odoo's world-class cloud platforms, Odoo.sh or Odoo Online. This completely removes the burden of server management. Odoo handles the infrastructure, the security, the backups, the performance. You get to focus on running your business, not on being a systems administrator. This is a massive operational expense and a headache that just vanishes. Fourth, it buys you official support. If something goes wrong, if you encounter a bug, you have a direct line to the people who built the software. They are contractually obligated to help you. In the Community world, you post on a forum and hope a stranger helps you for free. For a US business where uptime and reliability are paramount, the value of professional, guaranteed support cannot be overstated. It's an insurance policy for your company's core operating system. And finally, the enterprise license buys you the golden ticket. Seamless, supported, one-click upgrades. This is the TCO killer. When Odoo releases a new version, you don't have to budget a $20,000 development project. You test it in a staging environment provided by Odoo, and when you're ready, you click the button. Odoo handles the migration. They guarantee that your database and your enterprise features will work on the new version. This single benefit can justify the entire cost of the enterprise license over a 3 to 5 year period. It future-proofs your investment and ensures you are always on the latest, most secure, and most feature-rich version of the platform. So when you lay it all out, the picture becomes incredibly clear. Odoo Community's cost is unpredictable, reactive, and heavily weighted towards expensive, specialized developer hours. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. Odoo Enterprise's cost is predictable, proactive, and bundled into a subscription that provides immense value beyond just the software itself. It's a fixed operational expense that buys you not just features, but also agility, security, support, and a guaranteed path to the future. The question isn't whether you'll pay for your ERP system. The question is how you'll pay. In predictable license fees that empower your business, or in unpredictable, emergency developer bills that hold it back. So let's bring this all home. We've dissected the features, we've explored the hidden costs, and we've uncovered the strategic differences in support and upgrades. But the final piece of the puzzle, the one that truly matters, is you. Your business. Your ambition. Because the right choice isn't universal. It's deeply personal to your journey. To make this crystal clear, let's paint a picture of 3 different US businesses and see where you fit in. First, meet Alex, the quintessential American garage startup founder. Alex is a whiz with code, bootstrapping a niche e-commerce brand from the ground up. Every single dollar is scrutinized. The primary need is a basic CRM to track the first 100 customers and a simple invoicing system to get paid. For Alex, time is more abundant than capital. Spending a weekend learning Python to tweak a module isn't a business-stopping distraction. It's a welcome challenge. Downtime for a few hours is an annoyance, not a catastrophe that costs thousands in lost sales. For Alex, Odoo Community is a godsend. It's a free, powerful toolkit that gets the business off the ground with zero upfront software cost. But Alex is smart. Alex knows this is a temporary solution, a launchpad. The plan is already in place. Once the business hits 10 employees or needs real-time inventory across multiple sales channels, the migration to enterprise is non-negotiable. Community is the runway, but enterprise is the destination. If you are Alex, if you're a solopreneur, a tinkerer, A tech-savvy founder with very simple needs and a high tolerance for DIY, Community is a fantastic place to start. Just go in with your eyes wide open, knowing you are the support team, you are the developer, and you are the one solely responsible for the future of your system. Now let's meet Sarah. Sarah runs a successful regional manufacturing company with 30 employees. They've painfully outgrown their chaotic mess of spreadsheets and disconnected apps. Orders are getting mixed up, inventory counts are a fantasy, and her accounting team spends the last week of every month in a state of pure panic. Sarah is not a developer. Her time is best spent on sales strategy, managing her team, and steering the ship. The idea of her entire business grinding to a halt because of a botched open-source update gives her nightmares. She needs a reliable, out-of-the-box US accounting suite that is fully GAAP compliant and just works. She needs a robust manufacturing and inventory system with integrated barcode scanning to eliminate costly errors in the warehouse. Most importantly, she needs to know that when a critical issue arises, she can pick up the phone and get an expert to solve it, guaranteed by a service-level agreement. For Sarah, Odoo Community isn't a free tool. It's a massive liability. The savings on licensing would be vaporized by the first major operational hiccup. She'd have to hire a full-time developer or a pricey consultant just to keep the lights on, completely negating any cost advantage and adding another person to manage. For Sarah, Odoo Enterprise is the only logical choice. It's not an expense. It's an investment in sanity. It's an investment in efficiency. It's buying back her time and the time of her employees to focus on what they do best: making and selling great products. For a few $100s a month, she gets a fully integrated, supported, and future-proof platform. That's less than the cost of a part-time intern, but it delivers the operational backbone for her entire company. If you are Sarah, if you're running an established business that's ready to scale, if your operations are becoming a bottleneck, and if you value your time and operational stability over saving a few bucks on software, the debate is already over. Enterprise is your path forward. Finally, meet David. David is the COO of a distribution company with 150 employees, multiple warehouses across 3 states, and an expanding B2B web portal. For David, the stakes are astronomically high. They need multi-company consolidation for their financials. They need advanced routing rules and put-away strategies for their warehouses to maximize efficiency. They need rock-solid security and compliance, because a data breach or a system failure wouldn't just be a bad day. It would be an extinction-level event. The thought of running their multi-million-dollar operation on an unsupported, community-managed software stack is, frankly, laughable. It's like trying to run a commercial airline using a home flight simulator. The risk is immense and the upside is zero. David needs the Odoo Studio to empower his department heads to create custom apps and reports without writing a single line of code, reducing their reliance on IT. He needs the guaranteed upgrade path because a multi-year, custom migration project would paralyze the company and halt innovation. He needs the accountability of a direct relationship with Odoo or a gold-tier partner who is on the hook for his success. For David's company, Odoo Enterprise isn't just the better option. It's the only professional option. The license fee is a rounding error in their operating budget, but the value it provides in terms of stability, scalability, and security is the very foundation of their future growth. Community doesn't even enter the conversation. If you are David, if you're managing a company with any level of complexity, where compliance, security, and uptime are not negotiable, then you have a fiduciary responsibility to your company, your employees, and your shareholders to choose Enterprise. Look at these 3 profiles: Alex the bootstrapper, Sarah the growth engine, and David the scaler. Your choice between Community and Enterprise is ultimately a declaration of which one you are today, and more importantly, which one you aspire to be tomorrow. Choosing Community is like building a house one room at a time with lumber you find yourself. Can work for a small cabin, but you can't build a skyscraper that way. The foundation is fundamentally wrong. Choosing Enterprise is like hiring a world-class architect and construction firm. You're starting with a blueprint designed for growth. The foundation is laid not just for the building you need today, but for the headquarters you'll command in 5 years. You're building for the future, not just reacting to the present. So what's the final verdict? For the vast majority of US businesses, the ones that are past the hobbyist stage and are serious about growth, stability, and professionalism, Odoo Enterprise is the clear, unequivocal winner. The value proposition is simply too strong to ignore. The peace of mind, the advanced features that drive real-world efficiency, the dedicated support, and the guaranteed future are worth exponentially more than the modest license fee. Community has its place as a training ground, a developer sandbox, or a starting point for the most technically minded solopreneurs. But for a real operational American business, it's a strategic trap. As you weigh this decision, I want you to stop asking, how much does Odoo Enterprise cost? And start asking a different, more powerful set of questions. Ask yourself, what is the cost of a critical accounting mistake because my system isn't GAAP compliant? What is the cost of a lost sale because my website inventory wasn't updated in real time? What is the cost of my best employee quitting in frustration over inefficient, disconnected processes? And what is the cost of my own time being spent as a systems administrator instead of a business leader? When you frame it that way, the answer becomes crystal clear. The license fee for Odoo Enterprise isn't a cost. It's the insurance you buy to prevent all those other, far more devastating costs from ever happening. The choice is yours. Are you building a project for today or an enterprise for tomorrow? Choose wisely.